Mabrika, Mabrika. Welcome. Um, I hope I can get some feedback from someone soon. But I'm gonna keep going because this is all documented. Remember, I'm not doing this for no clout chasing or no strolling. I am learning about podcasting, stuff like that once my equipment comes in, so I can I don't know, give me something to do. I'm at that age. Anyway, and share some experiences. And I'm looking forward for others to share their experiences. And I got a few people that share their experiences with me. Um, Not many. I really don't have friends like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? When I moved out here to North Carolina. But I do keep in contact with my immediate family, and I do keep in contact with my brother, my brother that's been with me for such a long time, spiritually and mind and great minds, you know what I'm saying? And so I do keep in contact with him, but it's about really the only one really that I'm having conversations. Also, you know, um, I have gone through the school of thoughts, different school of thoughts. So as I went through the different school of thoughts, I did accumulate friendship with certain people that to this day and time keep in contact with me. Then that's from the me Freemasonry school of thought on, and different other school of thought. So let me get started. Let me see. Can you hear this? This is the tone. This is well, actually it's 181.9, but it's close to the 182. I wanted to go to 182.25, but I can't do it on this iPad for some reason. You know what I'm saying? But this is the frequency in music for the middle frequencies for the heart energy center. And the tone is this ah, the glow to a, like award or saw. So, that tone. And the word of power is Goyana. And that's the Atlantean word of power for that particular energy center. Now, let me explain something to you. People say, "Oh, that's kind of spooky, spookism, stuff like that." Let me explain something to you. The reason why I started to do this particular podcast, because yes, there is a school of thought that, you know, some culture observed lifestyles of other culture that preceded it. And a lot of times when they try to interpret it and they assimilate it to their own culture, it takes on other different forms. You know what I'm saying? So this whole system of, for instance, chakra system or the wheel is the Hindu way of looking at it, of their way to associate themselves with natural nature. But this is the thing. A lot of times, as time go by, certain cultures disconnect themselves from natural nature. They disconnect. So I wanted to reverse that, connect back with natural nature using these sciences of learning about these energy centers. Like for instance, how I mentioned how the Earth Energy Center, the first one of the nine energy center, we mentioned how that is the energy behind your ancestral pattern and genetic blueprint, and how we know how that deals also superimposed by the organ, the skin, because that leaves genetic material out there. So we were able to figure out and say, man, this is part of everyday life. This is nature, natural nature. We have genetics. We have an ancestral pattern. And once we're able to learn about that, explore that, then where that's the energy behind it is what we refer for meditational purpose, the Earth Energy Center. Going further, we went into the root center where sustenance, food, where currency, money, and sustainability, environment, shelter. And we that's a human natural experience. It's a way of life, a natural way of life. We gotta have food, right? We gotta have now the energy behind that, the currency you put behind that is to guide you in making those healthy choices in food. It's getting your balance and knowing where to put your currency at, your attention at, and also how to deal with your environment, how to create that 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 suitable environment for yourself. This is all natural. And then we went up to the energy behind our sex and pleasure and how that deals with natural nature. So we went into the whole sex, and I made an example with the Kama Sutra. And when you get ideas from these cultures, because we're meant to reach out and to share, exchange different ideas. Now, we don't have to always accept certain ideology, certain principles. Only what's beneficial for you, for us, and beneficial, yeah, for you and beneficial for all of us in that environment. So we went into the whole sex and pleasure thing, you know. Then we went up to the solar plexus, right? And how that deals with your will, your personality, your identity, and the energy behind that. And then the idea is that there's certain, again, borrowing from other culture, the martial arts, the tai chi, the yoga, right? All simple, certain breathing exercise. Excuse me. Certain breathing exercises will help you in meditative and also harnessing that energy behind that solar plexus. Because remember, that's a brain. It has gray matter and white matter. It's a brain. It is right. It is your subconscious brain that is keeping all your organs and everything functioning, moving, the vitality behind your face. So that's natural nature. You know what I'm saying? And the fact is, when we start meditating, we start looking and inspecting of what in our lives we need to work on. That's the whole idea for meditation. Meditation is medication, but it's the cure because the cure of it all is right here in your hands or in yourself. And like I said, some cultures or some organization took those practices, cut out the natural nature, and spooked it out. So people think just by sitting down, right, and just thinking about your energy center and doing all, they think that's it. No, it's not. That is just to get you focused on what you should be concentrating in your area of life. So now we go up to this heart energy center. And what I've learned is that this heart energy center is at the axis of all those centers and the axis of all life on earth. It is the balancer, unconditional caring, what they call unconditional love. But this is not no kumbaya thing. I told you that already. This is understanding unconditional caring and how to harness that energy by simply botany, by getting into plants and taking care of plants, by taking care of pets, animals, taking care of your environment, farming, your vegetation. You're giving dominions over all this in the sense of not for you to dominate it, but for you, a wrong choice of words, domination, is for you to spread your unconditional caring and to care for your planet as it cares for you. You're exchanging this back and forth. So this is the access. This is the and again, some physicists, some psychologists talk about it being a psychic barrier. And now I get it. At first I was like, barrier took a bad connotation in my mind. But then I said sometimes you have to have barriers. And sometimes your thinking, there is a barrier between your instinctive mind and your thinking mind. There's a barrier there because it's put there. You know what I'm saying? So that you can learn to balance that. And that's gonna segue me into, for instance, the whole idea of this lower part, which is your instinctive mind, your instinctive being that is it's at work, it's constantly doing, and how to wake that up is through the solar plexus. At the same time, is to really look into your life and the paradigms that you have created through your habits. And this I got from Bob Proctor, a physicist, I don't know if he's a psychologist. Bob Proctor is a speaker, motivational speaker, whatever. And this is a very, like I said, I grab things from different people and I see how that has worked beneficial for me and for me to stand to reason certain thought patterns that I'm having. And when I think about the heart energy center, as I was thinking more about it, then all of a sudden it started attracting certain things. So all of a sudden, as the video comes up, Bob Proctor talked about the concept of your lower self, right? Being the is that instinctive mind, being the paradigms, the habits that you form. And sometimes these habits, because it's that half of you, that bottom half, a lot of times these habits are genetically imprinted in you, your genetic blueprint, you know. Give me a second. Let me do something real quick here because we're on the subject of unconditional loving, and I got to do something real quick. So just give me 1 second. Sorry, I had to get my little bundle of joy here, you know, sort of like looking after her while they go to the store. And boy, unconditional caring. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's all about, beautiful. So, speaking about these paradigms, you see, there are certain habits that our ancestors passed on to us that we can pass on to our little ones. There's certain habits, and that creates a paradigm for them. That's that you have to be very careful of the certain habits, eating habits, or habitual things that you do because it creates that paradigm, you know. And now this is the thing that Bob Proctor was speaking about, that on the top half, which we haven't gotten to yet, but we're on our way because we're on the middle, we're on the axis, and that is the balancer. On the top half, when you have the thinking brain, when you get ideas that is not in balance or is not in cohesive, is not in tune with those habits and paradigms, you create a very unfavorable or very unfavorable condition and disappointment because it doesn't matches up, you see. Now, the idea is to change your habits so that it matches these ideas that you have that are pure, more ideas that deals with your beneficial. You want habits that are going to be beneficial, and you want to learn about how to create certain habits. This is what unconditional loving. This is what the heart. This is all happens. The tilt, the balancement happens all in that heart energy center. You understand what I'm saying? I hope. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is the future. Do you understand what Baba's saying? Anyway, so, okay, Mama. Yeah, he give us some toys here. She should look at and play. So, the conscious is awoke, but the subconscious is there also in its way. It's like, and I was gonna ask my brother, and I was going to explore more how ancient Kemet, which is the last filament of the super advanced scientific civilization that I spoken about before in the other podcast. Well, ancient the land of Chem was a remnants of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's looked at, is revered as so very highly advanced, because it is a remnant of that particular civilization that was way before before this civilization morphed. So, I when it comes to the subconscious mind, I was just thinking, so I'm throwing it out there if anybody know anything about it, and that is that when it comes to the subconscious mind, and also dealing with the conscious mind, how to balance it. The pictograph would be the cobra snake. Because if you know anything about the cobra, when you put it in a bag and it's submerged in like darkness and whatever, it goes to sleep. It's not really asleep because it can instantly get up. It's just that it goes into a calm mode. Also, doves does the same thing. There's certain animals that do the same thing. But as far as what they inscribed in the hieroglyphics in the metadata. So this is just a theory I'm throwing out there. So if anybody has more information on it, please get back at me, and I'm going to have some discussions about this because the subconscious mind, like that cobra, in itself submerged, is doing what it has to do. It's functioning, but it's not fully awake until it's hit with light. Once it passes the heart energy center and that's lit up, guess what? It comes up and then it's fully awake, what they call awoke, conscious of everything that's around it. So that's a concept, that helped me understand the difference between this submerged consciousness and this conscious. And then the weight, the balancement of that, which let me segue my way into it, because remember I said that certain cultures had already took in certain things and have protected the secrets. The concept of yin yang deals also with this heart energy center, perfectly balanced. When you understand yin yang and you understand some of its principle of the yin yang, the interdependent principle, the opposite principle, when you understand this, yin yang, when you see the black part has a white dot in it and the white part is a black, when you understand the relationship and you meditate on that, you create a balancement, unconditional caring balancement. Then you get to understand everything around you. And that's what they're trying to attain in the Chinese culture. See? Um, so that's when you look at those concepts, it helps stir up this unconditional caring. Because now, you see, once you have that idea, then you have to look at your habits. Are they balanced? Is the paradigm you're living in, is that balanced? Because if that's balanced, right, then you know that you're in a good place. It's you're at a good advantage. You're at a beneficial place for you and everybody around you. Yeah. Oh, you speaking? What? Ah, la 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 la. Ah, I love this. I love being around my babies. This is my granddaughter, my fourth granddaughter, and she's with me almost every day. I try to spend an hour with her because I observe her at the same time I play with her, and it's unconditional loving. She don't know what's going on. She feels the love, I guess, but I don't know. She don't know. We don't remember have that memory. But for you, is are you caring? That's unconditional. I don't care. No conditions here. It's just the caring pouring out. And that's what I mean by harnessing that empowerment of caring, kindness, you know, compassion, you know, and you can use this energy. This is, like I said, this is the most powerful, powerful gift that we as human beings have on this planet. It's how we can unconditionally have caring, which balance out our instinctive mind with our thinking mind. And then when it comes to reason, it's circular. So you're using your thinking and you're relating it to your instinctive, back up to your thinking. You're creating this circular thought pattern, right? That's what we call reasoning because it becomes circular. So now you're able to balance things out and you stand in that reasoning, what they call standing in the circle. Anyway, apart from that, you know, you experience your joy and you find that inner peace with this unconditional caring. You know, I didn't want to make this too long, but I got Dinala here, and she's wants my attention. She'll play with me, my attention, grab my hand. There you go, baby. And it's so the importance of this center in dealing with everyday life, human experience is inevitable. It's phenomenon. It is groundbreaking. It is use the word awesome. I mean, because when you put the compassion, for instance, let me whatever you put your compassion for you can see the fruit, and that also deals with your other energy center, like your sacral center, is enjoying the fruit of your labor. And that has to do when you feel that compassionate caring, you know what I'm saying? That leaks into your sacral, that leaks into your root. You see it manifest. If you balance it correctly, you see it manifest in all areas of your life. That is all thing, you know, and that you leave behind. You leave behind when you transition, you leave that behind, that unconditional caring. It's left behind and it creates favorable memories and favorable conditions for people around you that see you transition. That's the reason why some people have a hard time. We have to balance, we have to explore that unconditional caring, and we have to explore it and understand how that works in our everyday life, in our career, which will be the root energy center, right? Your currency, your career that brings you your currency. What's up, mama? And your currency, you you know, you see it manifesting also in the foods you eat. You're caring for the foods that you eat, and you know what foods to eat and what not to eat. You're caring for that. I'm having a deja vu with people. It's like I've been here before doing this, and I had this little girl, this young lady, this beautiful gift right here next to me. But so this uncon- unconditional caring, this is the power behind this heart energy center. That is the empowerment, your compassion, your caring, your kindness, and stuff like that. And this helps you with your health and healing. And remember to balance this center, or treat yourself to something nice. Experience that joy. I experience joy just by being with this thing right here. I get joy. And I get joy when I even call a video chat with my other two granddaughters. Oh my other two granddaughters, the joy I get from watching, just looking into their eyes and watching their features in their face and the way they look at me and through the video chat. I'm beautiful. And then, of course, my grandson, and my children, you know. I'm in that point right now that we're learning to harness this, and I'm learning to really pay attention to my kindness, you know. But remember, it's not about a kumbaya. You can't walk around there. I got my beats because I was meditating and stuff. But you don't walk around there with crystals and and the world's beautiful and that, because it's not. There's a lot of work to be done. However, are you responsible? You got to be responsible for your actions. You got to be responsible. What are you doing as you walk through this planet, as you partake of earth consciousness and earth gifts? What are you doing to be, what responsibility you have? What are you doing to benefit others and yourself? And how are you enjoying this beauty? So there's a lot of people out there that are not balanced. You got to also be aware of those that are what they call the dark, are manipulating themselves within the dark. You got to be careful with that too. You know what I'm saying? Because it can lead to deceitfulness. But it's a part of human nature. Out of darkness comes the light. It's part of human nature, but you just got to be aware of it. That's why, I was speaking to my brother. I always got to bring him up because I love enjoying my conversation with him. And we were speaking about, I told him, hey, listen, when anybody introduces some type of philosophy, a cultural philosophy or way of life, like for instance, Hinduism, or let's say some type of organization, so any type of organization. As they approach you, I now learned this. I don't want to see the good things about any organization. I want to know the dark side. I want to know what's behind the scene of that corporation or that person, that guru or that master. Tell me I want to see the dark side, the secret. If that dark side overshadows the good that person is doing, then there's a problem. But if I see this person doing a lot of good and everybody makes mistakes, you know what I'm saying? Then I can see that, okay, he's leaning more towards this way. That's a good thing. That's more beneficial because remember, construction comes with destruction. The dichotomy is going to be always present. And that's, again, yin yang. And that's unconditional caring. Sometimes, like I said, not kumbaya. Sometimes you gotta like to say. Sometimes you gotta kick ass to show someone that you love, you care for them. You gotta kick their ass. It's like a child. You gotta straighten them out, or you gotta kick ass to show, hey, bro, I care for you, but don't overbound yourself. Don't give me that Machiavelli type of thinking. In Machiavelli, when you read that book, Machiavelli, it was told to the prince that it's better for the people to fear you, because when they fear you, they won't they won't overindulge themselves with you. They're careful. You know what I'm saying? It's better for them to fear you than to have love you, because when you are being so loved, then the people are going to trespass that feeling. Like I said, everything is half truth. I stand to reason that in that world, in that principality versus the republic, in that world, that's politics. That's the way they get down. But then I say to myself, you can have unconditional caring and be firm with your unconditional caring. It's like don't trespass. Don't overdo yourself with me, boy. It ain't gonna work because I care for you. I'm gonna whip that ass because I care for you. Because I'm trying to show you a lesson. Because you trespass your way with me. You trespass my unconditional caring. So yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass. That's unconditional caring. Sometimes, you can't look at all plants good. There's some weeds in there. You gotta pluck those weeds out in order to care for that plant. So I gotta pluck the weed in you so that I can see you grow. And sometimes you have to do that. And I'm not giving no ideas for anybody to try to do that with me because, you know, even though I make my mistakes, but I'm responsible for me, myself. When you respond, I'm talking about people that don't have that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And making an analogy of that. How unconditional caring and this heart center can be mistaken for kumbaya moment. No, it ain't like that. It ain't like that. Right, Nala? Nala? Right, Nala? Right, Nala? Yeah, funny girl. So, this all deals with the heart energy center. And knowing that this is the access, the tilt, the access, because you can use this energy center and it can power all the higher centers and your lower centers. It empowers it. It is the middle ground. It is representative of the heart facing down and a heart facing up. The double heart. Abtui, if you call it that, you know, double heart. You know what I'm saying? And it's also the cobra, showing the stages of the cobra into it reaches that awoke moment and you're aware, having unconditional caring for your environment and having that, you also have to be aware of your enemy. You have to aware of people that are trying to trespass you. Nothing wrong with that. It's all part of that heart center. It's a defense, it's the barrier, you know. And then remember also to create habits so they become instinctively habits, so as to create your paradigm and then balance that off with the thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because it's instinctive, we got to make money, right? You got to eat and you got to have currency and all that stuff. But the minute you say, I'm not going to do nothing, and you had that idea of like, no, I'm going to quit my career. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to go. You create a very unfavorable condition for yourself and your family. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I'm saying, you know, there are certain cultures that have taken things and taken it and to a spookism. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not against a lot of yoga. A lot of times, oh, I was having that discussion again, and there are some yogis that go into the mountains and I can understand if you want to isolate yourself for a period of time, but when you make it your life business to isolate yourself and don't enjoy the pleasures in life, Earth, what Earth have to offer, I think that's a little, I don't know, because I don't know. It could be, I don't see that yet. You know what I'm saying? It's a good way after a certain age if you want to meditate and you want to there's nothing left for you, you know what I'm saying? And you outlive most of the people around you, then I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? But you got family, you got wives and children. Man. Enjoy. Don't feel guilty because then you're gonna block. Remember, guilt blocks that energy center, which is the sacral energy center, which is enjoying the don't feel guilty for enjoying the pleasures of life in a very responsible way. Of course, it's got to be moderation. It's got to be responsibility. No doubt about it. So I want to stress that very, very much. So yeah, your instinctive mind is always going to do what it does, but there are also powers in it that it can help you balance your heart energy center and balance your life, and that is by knowing your habits and But what I want to get back to for these yogis and these sages and people that what I'm saying, I believe that we're put on this earth to enjoy His pleasure, responsibly to care for it. And at the same time, when you care for something, you're enjoying the fruits of your labor. You're enjoying it. I don't see anything wrong with it when it's responsible. When it's responsible, you're doing it in a responsible way. I don't see that. I mean, I look at a child how they enjoy themselves. Look at this one. She's trying to grab my thing. I know she's trying to try to put it in her mouth. Hey, girl, take it easy. Take it easy. That's mine. Not mine. That's not good for you. That's another thing. We got to be careful about the mind principles and me, me. A lot of people is me, me. It's about turn that M around and say we. It's about we. It's about being responsible. But that's another discussion. You know what I'm saying? But the unconditional care, no, unconditional care, remember, is the balance between the me and the balance between the we. You got to balance that. I mean, because you are an indivisible duality, which is an individuality. You do have that. You do have that sense. You do have that part of you. But at the same time, you could submerge that back into the cosmos and the we. We'll get into that later when we start getting to those higher energy center and how it deals with natural nature, not spooking it out. And no kumbaya spook out thing. It deals with your everyday human experience. Put it back into natural nature because it belongs to natural nature. It doesn't belong to you in a mountain or to you meditating, thinking that that's it. No, there's work to be done for your biblical narrative. Faith without work is in vain. Those ideas has to match those habits. That paradigm has to fit. Your ideas have to fit into that paradigm. And if you don't like your paradigm, then change your habits. Change your habits. Get to know your genetics and then change it. You have a right. You have the right and the power to change it. And that's again using your heart energy, your unconditional caring, and change it. You don't like that plant is not growing well change it. It's paradigm by caring for it, giving it what it needs to grow. Hmm? Right, mama? What's up? Oh, I'm sorry. Someone. Mm, I love this baby. So, it's I don't know how we can cut this, and there's much more. Um, you know, and like I said, it's you're living. So you don't want to transition because it's inevitable. Death is inevitable. But one thing that I learned about the heart energy center and the unconditional caring, that you can have a very peaceful transition. It doesn't have to be with stress. And again, grief is a blockage for the center. And it's very important for you to face grievances, face those regrets. Rid of it now because when you're on your deathbed, you don't want regrets. You don't want that deep sorrow. You don't want that. It creates a very unfavorable condition for everybody and for the planet, for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have a lot of souls that are limbo. You know, this regrets, this sorrow, this sense of disappointment. No, get rid of that grievance and learn about expert. Don't have expectations. Just know yourself. Know who you are. And the self is all of yourself. It's also your environment, everything around you. You tired, mama? Or you hungry? What's going on? That finger tastes good. So yeah, you know. Now I want to say something quickly. I want to end it there with the heart energy center. Well, I mean, we're not going to end it there because it's going to continue because, like I said, it's one of the most important energy center, and that's how that's how I'm living my life. It's harnessing that power of unconditional caring, but being smart about it too. Now, to make sure that people don't take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And just being smart with it. And so and when you tap onto this unexhaustible stream of caring, no one can mess with that. No one can mess with that. That's the power that we have. Let's tap onto this unconditional caring stream that comes from us, from our personal power, also that comes from the planet, comes from the star, comes from the cosmos, comes from people that we associate with. Let's you can harness that power, and it's unexhaustible. It's just a stream of unlimited, infinite power, infinite power. And so you have to learn about what's infinity and what's eternally and what's timeless. You know what I'm saying? Unconditional caring, and you see how certain souls, character, personality, spirits have been on this planet, and they left in a huge amount of unconditional caring. You know, even Bruce Lee. Well, right now they're saying certain things of submersive about Bruce Lee, but he left a lot of philosophy and himself in philosophy. Bob Marley. I mean, you name it. They just caring. Abisu Campos for the Hispanic people. Abisu Campos left. Arturo Schomburg, because I'm bringing that up to segue into this discussion that we had last night. I couldn't really get off what I wanted to say because my internet went bad, my Wi-Fi, and I called this morning. What it is, for some reason it switched out. You got to make sure that you know your router and AES and make sure that the Mac filter is off and stuff like that in order for you to stream and stuff like that. So I had a problem. I had a struggle. But then I said maybe it wasn't meant to say. But then I called in. I couldn't do the video, so I couldn't be in there, and it got heated because it was about racism. You know what I'm saying? But the point that I wanted to make that I couldn't make, maybe it wasn't meant to make, but I'm gonna maybe revisit that thought with conversation, revisit that conversation, discussion, and let them know that about right racism and wrong racism, the balancement of things. And that comes from balancing also. Learning about balancement is by learning about this heart energy center, the balance that it can have when you have this unconditional caring and how it can balance things. You know what I'm saying? So you see, I want, so what I was saying, what they can get from me, it was a balancement of what was going on. There was a strife between two different ideas, and they were going at it. But as I came on at the end, it's like, oh, here's the balancement. This is what you got to also think about. And this all comes from that unconditional caring. There's a lot of people out there like that. I'm not the only one. When people waking up and they have this sense of caring that they post things, um, they have conversation with people, and they care so much, that they and like I said, there's a responsibility with this unconditional caring. With caring and loving, it's a responsibility because you also got to get to know the bad things so that you can correct it or to see does it stand the test of honesty? Does it stand the test of authenticity? Does it stand that test? What you on me? He's unbelievable. So that's when you come to this heart energy center. It has the power to do this. You this is where your compassion is harnessed. So this compassion that you have to look into things, to see it and to see aspects of the thing, and then offer a balancement or extract the beneficial stuff that you know is going to be good for you and good for everybody else around you. But so much you can go into this heart energy center. We had a big discussion there. So what I wanted to say about, um, you know, real quickly, and I stated this, it's not wrong to be a racist because when you look at the word racist, you have physicists and scientists. Those are scientists is a person that's invested in science. Like a physicist is a person invested in physics. A pianist is a person invested in piano. So a racist is a person invested in the race. Now, you do have sub races. I mean, I stand to reason that there's a human race, but that human race has been filtered and cut down into sub races. So, being that we're on that level, because you could be on the higher level and just see the human race good, but the reality is, not everybody is like you. There's people that are still fragmented and still see separatism. So, in order to deal with that, it's like a racist. If you want to preserve your, and it's really about ethnics. A good brother of mine, I made that interjected that in, which I appreciated, and that's Levy Soto, brother, a drummer, about the ethnicity. It's really about ethnicity, different ethnic culture expression. All right, that's really the problem here. You know what I'm saying? But because we're all from the human races, but we have become different ethnics. Everything got separated. So people went on their ways in certain cultures. Depending on the nature, they started cultivating that nature, and then the uh, uh, um, culture, culture flourished. Certain cultural expressions, right? They cultivate the nature, and became a culture. So now, being that you have that, it's okay for you to be proud of being who you are. No problem. Self preserve your ethnicity. No problem. Because that's the flavors of the human race. No problem. The problem is when you hinder or downtrod another ethnic race. That's a problem. Like if I consider myself Hispanic and I look at Chinese as lower than me and a downtrodden, and I hinder a Chinese community from flourishing, that's wrong racism. That's wrong. Now you went beyond the bounds of being a racist because you created unfavorable conditions for yourself where you can even extinct your ethnic like that and create unfavorable position for them. So, I was mentioning that, I'm saying when it comes, got to look at that, that this whole thing now with the, police and this and being racist, that's a different thing. That's again, ethnics, corporational ethnics, and that is the what came out of slavery. You know what I'm saying? The mindset of that came out of looking at yourself and being threatened, your self-preservation being threatened by other people, or just again creating a paradigm with this habitual that in the idea of the cosmos doesn't fit with the paradigm that they created on earth, so society created on earth. So you're going to have this conflict. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let me let you go. Let me concentrate on my baby here. But so we're gonna go up to the next one, which is the throat. But remember but we're always gonna refer back to the heart energy center. 'Cause I said that's the important one because that's the one that lights up. It's the lit behind the flame of life. Hmm. It's the lit behind the flame. You know what I'm saying? It's that heart energy center. So if I come up with more ideas about how to, use certain simple analogies and simple things to 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 not explain but to exchange, then I'll refer back to it. Okay. But remember, now we're up to the throat, which also has a connection with your solar plexus, your will and testament, this power of identity also can be harnessed right there by what you say, the energy behind your voice. Anyway, peace and blessing. I care for you all. No kumbaya. I just care for you all. Okay? And let's enjoy. Peace. Say Nala. Nala, say bye. Hi. I talk to you later. Nala. We're gonna change the world, you little ones. Little ones. Little ones, my little ones out there, we're gonna change the world because we're gonna create a better paradigm for us. Peace.